Hi, I'm Dawn Summers and welcome back to my fashion studio. Today we're in the design world and we're going to talk about how to create a look, create fabrics from an idea that you have, or finding a fabric and creating an idea from that. So we're going to look at it from both perspectives. Today we're in a fabric store, so you're going to hear some muffling and some movement around as people are shopping. Here in the Midwest, we don't have a lot of options for different varieties of fabrics in the stores, so I've chosen a quilt store that has some beautiful cottons. The process is the same for trying to figure out how to design whatever it is you're going to design. So our first perspective, our first look is coming from the idea that you already have in your head. You have the perfect image of what you want, and now you have to find the fabrics to follow that image. So I'm going to make a baby blanket, kind of a quilt, and my daughter drew up a sketch for the layout of the quilt, and the mom-to-be is decorating her baby room in florals. So big flowers, nice soft florals, pinks. So I had an idea in my mind of what I wanted to do, but I couldn't find the fabric. So I'm going to walk you through that process today. So I'm here and I have picked out my first florals. So her big flower idea, here's some florals that we can look at. Bright, some a little more muted. I'll kind of pick them up so you can see some of the different options that we have here today. And finally, one that's a little bit lighter. So this is the first step, finding the base idea of what you want. So here's some of the florals. Next, I know that I wanted to use a cuddle fabric, the soft fabric to go in the quilt somewhere. So I went and I found some fabrics that go with these particular pieces. So with the one on the end, here's a nice lavender to pick up the lavender in that fabric. The second material, I found a raspberry that picks up the colors very nice and looks nice together. And finally, for this last fabric, I found a soft pink, almost a peachy color. So let me see if I can, it's kind of washing that out a little bit. But these were my three choices. So as I look through these three pieces, I start to think about what it is she was wanting again. And she wanted the big flower, which I got. This one actually has some butterfly in it too. The flowers are a little smaller. And then her other color was a pink, kind of light pinks. So even though I love this combination, I think that I'm going to kick it out. So it's bringing me back down to two options here. Even though I love this one, I'm still kind of thinking that maybe I need to stay in the pink range. So the idea is to create a third fabric. So I've been around the store and looked for another fabric to blend with this. And let's see what we found. So for this material down here, I found this kind of subtle, it's a batik material, has a really subtle pattern in it. And if you look at the three together, they look really pretty, even though the color's a little off with the camera. For this material blend, I found this cool gray, which is really, really nice. And it's a floral as well, kind of an abstract floral. It doesn't exactly match, but I kind of like that it doesn't match. So these are my two options. Knowing the person that this is going to, she's vibrant, she loves color, but yet she loves like jazzy, cool objects too. So with my two choices here, I'm looking through, I'm going to go ahead and select this grouping. So I'm going to move these out of the way so that I can look at my material all together. And here are my three pieces. Now I could go select a fourth material, but I don't want it to get too busy as well or overwhelming. So this is what I selected based on the idea of what the intent is, the customer, and what her colors are, what her base fabrics are. So I have already used this, and I made the base the front of the little blanket. So I'm going to show you now what the little blanket turned out like. This is following the pattern that my daughter created. So here's the front of this material, of this combination. So this is what it will look like, with the backing being the cuddle fabric. So once again, no matter if you're looking at quilts, you're looking at accessories, or you're looking at apparel, the design process is the same. It is difficult to find the fabric from the idea that you've created in your head. Sometimes when we're designing, especially apparel, if you're doing formal wear or a specific or a specialized piece, and you have that piece in mind, that exact style and the exact fabric and coloring, that is when it gets difficult. So you have to sometimes work through a process. This whole process probably took 30 to 45 minutes to work through, and this is the third store that I've been in to find the blend that I want. So that is from the perspective of if you have the idea already in your mind. Now we're going to take just a short break, and we're going to look at designing based on finding the material first. So stay tuned.